Fei Fei, it's time for Best Screenplay. Eric has 2 nominations. Knowing Auntie, I'll be here right away. In Zhou Wenxiong's shouting, Lu Yifei hurriedly walked to the sofa and sat down. Her face was covered with a crumpled mask. Obviously, she was in too much of a hurry and had not yet cleaned up. I've only been away for a few minutes, and I'm still giving out TV drama awards just now. It's Nicole Kidman as the presenter, and this woman is not a good person. Lu Xiaoli snorted coldly and said. Zhou Wenxiong thought that Nicole Kidman and Eric had an affair. At least it has not been confirmed that there is a relationship. But you've really slept with him, and you don't know how many times you've slept with him, but you're embarrassed to talk about others. But maybe it's because I've slept with Eric that I hate other women who are good with each other even more, except for my own daughter. Zhou Wenxiong opened her mouth and said, Nicole Kidman is not bad. This is a good sign, isn't it? What are you talking about? Fifi, remember the Emmys? When Eric won the Best Screenplay award, it was Nicole Kidman who presented the award, and maybe the Guild wanted to replicate that tonight. It's a matter of setting off smoke bombs and deliberately making people wonder about it. Lu Xiaoli poured cold water. Mom, how can there be someone like you? Why don't you want Eric to win the prize? I don't have anything. It doesn't matter to me whether he wins the award or not. I'm just talking about things and guessing. Zhou Wenxiong looked at Lu Xiaoli with a smile. Sister, it's been more than half a year since I last saw Eric in Los Angeles. In the middle, MGM sent someone to inspect it once, but then there was no follow-up, and our theater owner kept asking me about my attitude over there. You know Eric so well, and Fifi helped me talk. Lu Xiaoli glared at her sister. What do I know with him? Usually I don't know how to call a phone call or a text message, and I can't speak. Hee. I can't say that people will arrange roles for you. Fei Fei is going to participate in a big production this year. I know it. If you don't help, Fei Fei will definitely help me. Lu Xiaoli rolled her eyes. Her body had already been given anyway. Why do you want to feed the tiger with your body? Isn't it just for her daughter not to go deep into the tiger's den? Otherwise, it will be fun to hold a tiger for yourself one day and come back. But think about it seriously. If you really hold a tiger, it shouldn't be bad. Eric Cooper is emotionally difficult to say, but at least he will not treat the child badly if he talks about his credit. Driving out the messy thoughts in her mind, Lu Xiaoli said, Okay, I want to find a way. Don't worry. Beverly Hills, Hilton, Golden Globe Awards. Nico opened the envelope and announced loudly, the winner of the Golden Globe Award for Best Screenplay is Eric Cooper's Adele's Life. Wow.
Bang 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 in.
An instant, the applause of the entire awards ceremony was thunderous. Whether they could see it or not, everyone's eyes converged to a point. The camera gave the other nominees, and Revenal naturally gave him a heartfelt applause. After all, strictly speaking, Get Out can be regarded as a script led by Eric. He is more equivalent to tinkering, and the contributions of the two to the script are similar to the first and second works of the paper, and the gold content is a certain distance. Even if Get Out won the award, it was Eric who contributed more, so he had no complaints, and he was satisfied if he was nominated. Patty Jenkins is as convinced. Without MGM's investment, it is impossible to say whether The Female Devil can be filmed and whether it can be filmed in theaters. And the influence of The Female Devil is obviously not as great as Adele's Life, and He Shin-woo lost to Xiao Xin-xin, and he is not wronged. The other two nominees also gave gracious applause, either smiling or positive, and it is difficult to say what they thought in their hearts. Perhaps he will scoff and scold Eric for relying on this trend of political correctness to win the award. No one knows. But isn't it also a duty of movies to conform to the trend of public opinion and reflect social facts? Amid the applause, Ashley and Mary immediately offered a fragrant kiss and kissed him on the cheek. After hugging Judy, Andrea, Neil Blomkamp, and others, he strode onto the stage. After going on stage, he hugged Nico first, and the two kissed each other. After being harshly trained, she didn't dare to make a surprise attack this time, but just quietly said, "I love you." Did not stage the passionate scene at the Emmys. The director team of the party was a little disappointed, and the deliberately arranged links. They did not cooperate. What should be done with the ratings? After kissing the trophy, Eric said, "Thank you, Nicole, beautiful lady. You have been my lady of luck again. I'm going to keep doing this role." Nico poked at the activity in her heart. "I am very grateful to the association for awarding the trophy to me as a young man. I have the least experience compared to the others. They're all the best screenwriters. I've seen Lost in Translation and Mystic River, and I'm pretty sure that both films will go down in history, and I'm just lucky. I also want to thank the whole crew, especially Ashley and Mary, for giving a lot for the role, to a degree that the outside world can't imagine. Without their wonderful performances, the movie would not have been presented, and you guys were the best." Offstage, the Olsen sisters looked at Eric with a smile, the goblets on the table that reflected the stars in their eyes. The two sisters glanced at each other, and no one really knew how much they had paid for the role, and the whole person was lost. After his acceptance speech, Eric and Nico returned backstage holding hands. Taking advantage of the fact that there was no one around, Eric kneaded her ass. Nico's eyebrows were watery. "Honey, am I obedient enough this time? Are you satisfied?" "Humph. Then you choose a time to come to my house. My mother likes you very much." "Huh. Ah, that's pretty much it." Returning to her seat, Mary snatched the trophy and looked at it carefully. "Is this the Golden Globe?" Ashley leaned over with the same wistful look. The trophy was more enticing than the best candy in the world. Eric laughed and said, "You'll have it too, and you'll have it in a while." The ceremony continued, with several TV series awards being awarded, followed by the turn of Best Foreign Language Film. As predicted by the media, the award went to the Afghan film Teenage Osama. Russia's The Return and Germany's Goodbye Lenin all failed. This movie tells the epitome of the Afghan people under the rule of Taliban in the 90s, and the movie is very poignant and cruel. Although it is not as full of dim light as The Witch Devil, the level of darkness is not inferior at all, and it is the type that Eric will never watch a second time. Even if this kind of film has no elaborate narrative and structure, no editing and technical work, and some aspects are even deliberate. But the shock of the story itself and the truth of the background make this deliberateness natural and this simplicity full. The movie can win awards. In addition to the truth of the filming, it is also somewhat political. The United States has not done anything good since it invaded Afghanistan in 2001, and choosing this movie can at least highlight its own justice. Eric remembers that he had also seen a film about the lives of the people after the American invasion of Afghanistan called Children of Kabul. This movie doesn't seem to have won any big awards. Director Stitch Ballmack did not attend the Golden Globes, and the representative went up to speak a few words before stepping down. Diane Keaton then won Best Actress in a Musical Comedy for her performance in Love is a Compromise, and The Office won Best Musical Comedy Series. At this time, Jack Nicholson, who was wearing sunglasses, came up from the backstage, and those who dared to use this kind of costume to present awards were all veterans, and ordinary actors would be sprayed to death wearing sunglasses. Old Jack was nominated for Best Actor in a Musical Comedy, but unfortunately lost to Bill Murray. However, he no longer needs to prove himself with awards. Classic roles such as The Shining and The Joker have made this old man stand tall for a long time. A few days ago, the association contacted me and said, "Jack, how about you come to present the Best Actress in a drama series?" I said, "Why don't you let me give the best film? Do you think I don't deserve this award?" They say no. You see who are the people who are nominated for the best film? Peter Jackson, Anthony Minghella, Clint Eastwood, Peter Weir, Eric Cooper. 5 people can't make a beautiful leg together. All of them are stinky men, although Eric Cooper is a handsome young guy. But even though gay sex is popular now, You must still like beautiful women more. I thought about it and felt yes, so I accepted the invitation. Ha 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 ha. Old Jack, who loves to be funny, played a talk show and made fun of the current same-sex trend, which immediately attracted a lot of laughter. But some people can laugh, some people can't, such as the current Olsen family. Aome sat on the sofa with her parents, and only the sound of the TV could be heard in the living room, and the three of them looked at the screen intently. For this day, the two couples who have been divorced for several years sit together again, hoping to see the wonderful moments after the closure of the two precious daughters. Daddy, can Ashley and Mary win the prize? Asked Aome, worried. Surely, among these 5 movies, Adele's Life has the highest box office and the most influence, and the gay community regards the two of them as idols and spiritual totems. The media and the internet are also very optimistic about Ashley and Mary, and we will definitely win the award. Yes, baby, your sister will definitely win the prize. On stage, Jack Nicholson continued, there are those who have been nominated for Best Actress in a Drama Series. Charlize Theron's The Devil Girl, Scarlett Johansson's The Girl with the Pearl Earring, Evan Rachel Wood's 13, Cate Blanchett's Drug News, and Ashley Olsen and Mary Olsen's Adele's Life. 6. Nominees for 5 films because Adele's Life is a double heroine and the roles of the two sisters are not different. Suddenly, their hands were clenched, and the Olsen sisters pursed the corners of their mouths nervously, and Eric could even feel them trembling slightly. At the round table next to him, Theron looked at himself equally nervously, and then stared at the envelope in Jack Nicholson's hand. The same is true of the other 3 nominees. Cate Blanchett is dressed in red, and the style of the future Great Demon King has taken shape, and Scarlett Johansson is wearing a gorgeous evening dress, and she is also rushing to win the award. Under the nervous gaze of everyone, Jack Nicholson slowly opened the envelope, and the old man was still funny. I saw him take off his sunglasses and announce with a smile, the winner of the Best Actress in a Drama Film is Ashley Olsen and Mary Olsen, Adele's Life. Yes, yes. The 2 girls who had just turned 18 couldn't hold back their excitement and stood up and cheered loudly. Although the behavior is somewhat unseemly, who made them just adults? The little girl is youthful and energetic, and she should dare to laugh and dance. In particular, the 2 won the award and broke the Golden Globe Award for the age of actresses. 18 years old is unprecedented. It's hard to say if there will be anyone coming later, just like Eric's record, it's almost a swan song. Even in 2021, Rachel Ziegler, the youngest actress born at the Golden Globe Awards, was 20 years old at that time. What's more, the Olsen sisters are still the daughters of Americans who have grown up, and the children have grown up and have the ability, no matter how big the reaction is, it should be. So instead of being annoying, this kind of emotional performance can make people feel cute. The 2 kissed Eric on the face again, and then walked onto the stage side by side. Eric switched to the crew of The Devil and gently patted Theron on the back to comfort her. Theron pouted aggrievedly, her eyes hard to hide the loss. If it wasn't for public, she really wanted to throw herself into Eric's arms and cry. I've done so much, but I've failed. You like female stars to be ugly, so I'll pretend to be ugly and gain weight. If you don't like commercial films, then I'll make literary films. If you like to have breakthrough roles, then I'll play gay. What do you want me to do? You will give me the trophy. The more she thought about it, the more aggrieved she felt. Eric was okay when he wasn't around, and seeing him by his side found an outlet for sadness. Honey, I kind of want to cry. Theron whispered. It's not the time, baby, or tomorrow your big feature will make headlines, and those guys will taunt you that you can't afford to lose, and that's nothing. Isn't it the Golden Globes? If you can't get it, forget it. Let's go and win the Oscars. The Oscars are always more authoritative and convincing than the Golden Globes. Patty Jenkins also comforted. That's right, Theron, you've done a great job. The Golden Globes are just a bunch of unprofessional people. The Oscars are professional, and we will definitely win the Oscars after another month. Really? I promise, dear. Eric nodded solemnly. The Olsen family, like a sister's reaction, Aome had already jumped up the moment she heard Jack Nicholson announce it. From this moment on, the Olsen family has also been blessed with heavyweight awards, and they are also the youngest Golden Globe Award winner in history. Outdated, eat the old book, only act in campus youth dramas? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. No one dares to say such a thing anymore, and the Olsen sisters ushered in a super evolution. Even the parents who have been divorced for many years hugged each other excitedly, and although the relationship between the two was broken, their love for their children was the same. Garniti looked at the beautiful girl on the TV screen, her eyes full of pride. By the way, is it the first time that the Golden Globe Awards have two double yolk eggs? Aome immediately raised her little hand. I know, I specifically checked this question, and I know that you will definitely ask after my sister wins the award. Mom, you're right. This is indeed the first time in the history of the Golden Globes that there have been two queens. But it's a pity that we didn't break the record, because there was a triple yolk at the Ballon d'Or once. What? It was the 46th Golden Globe Awards in 1989, and Jodie Foster won Best Actress in a Drama for The Pear Blossom, Shirley MacLaine for Mrs. Sasatska, and Sigourney Weaver for Foglock. This is the only time that the Golden Globes have won multiple actresses, and 3 people have won at the same time, which is even more exaggerated than my sister winning for the same film. I really don't know what the judges thought about it at the time. I haven't seen these 3 movies. Is it really that good? Garniti shrugged. It's okay. At least we're the first to be the queen of the double movie. Elizabeth, has the Oscar ever had a double yolk? The Golden Globes are the bellwether of the Oscars, and Ashley and Mary are likely to win the Oscars again in a month. Aome shook her head again. I'm sorry, Mom, although Oscar has not appeared in the 3 yolk eggs, but the double Shadow Queen has already existed. At the 41st Oscars in 1969, Barbra Streisand won the actress with Wonderful Girl and Katharine Hepburn with Winter Lion. So far, this is also the only time that the Oscars have been left behind a double film. After Aome finished speaking, although everyone had some small regrets, this regret was quickly diluted by the joy of winning the award. Looking at her sister, who was full of spirit and said her acceptance speech, Aome couldn't help but secretly decide that one day she would stand in that position and make Eric proud of herself. Hilton Hotel, Golden Globe Awards. With Eric's comfort, Theron was in a better mood, and everyone looked at the Olsen sisters on the stage. Ashley and Mary each held a trophy, and their faces bloomed with joy. Mary's personality jumped out, and she spoke first. I am very happy to receive this award. I am really very happy, and this can be seen from our faces. Ha 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 ha. The audience chuckled. First of all, I would like to thank the association for awarding the award to us. I know it will be difficult to make this decision because every nominee is excellent. Charlize Theron, Scarlett Johansson, Cate Blanchett, everybody has a better experience and resume than we do, and they all contributed great performances. So I'm really grateful to the association. It's a bold decision. Seeing Mary praising the guild and her opponents, as if it was a fluke that we were able to win the award, Eric knew that they must have been in contact countless times in private. This acceptance speech must have been revised many times before it was finalized, and you had to practice your facial expressions when you say each sentence in front of the mirror. Because she is not this kind of character at all, in private she said that if she can't win the award, she will curse the association's gang of bitches to die well. Hearing Mary's speech, Theron cursed in his heart, but he could only smile and applaud under the camera. The mood that was just a little better suddenly became unhappy again, but this time the unhappiness shifted the target. Eric suddenly felt a pain in his thigh, and Theron was smiling as he pinched himself under the table. On stage, Ashley continued, Thanks also to the crew, everyone worked hard to make it a good shot, especially to the director Eric. When we were going to take over Adele's life, Mary and I hesitated for a long time. Compared to our previous roles, the breakthrough was too great. We were under a lot of pressure, on the one hand, from the lack of confidence in acting, and on the other hand, from the pressure of society after the release. In short, it was difficult. It was Eric who persuaded us countless times, encouraged us countless times, and tried ways to help us get into the play, and finally Mary and I overcame the psychological barrier. He's a very good director, and Eric owes a lot of credit to winning this award. Sorry, I saw the prompt, but please give us a little more time. Finally, I would like to thank our family for their support and help us through those days when there was no filming and being denied. We love you, Dad, Mom, Elizabeth. In the warm applause, the two walked off the stage and returned to the crew. Everyone immediately snatched the trophy from their hands and stroked it, and everyone was touching this thing for the first time. Judy put the 3 trophies together. 2 big prizes, 2 more. Not satisfied? The last 2 don't have to think about it. It's none of our business. What if there is number 100% thing in the world? That's right, the association has given us the actress. Maybe it will be more daring and give you the director. Eric shook his head, not holding out hope. It turned out to be just as he had predicted, or as everyone had expected. Next is the performance time of The Lord of the Rings 3. First, the Best Director was won by Peter Jackson, who took the stage to give an acceptance speech. Best Animated Picture went to Finding Nemo, and Michael Douglas received the Lifetime Achievement Award. 24 Hours won Best Drama Series, while Best Musical Comedy went to Lost in Translation. The award for Best Picture in the drama category was unsurprisingly awarded to The Lord of the Rings 3, The Return of the King. In the eyes and applause of the audience, the 61st Golden Globe Awards ceremony came to an end. After the ceremony, it was a Vanity Fair dinner as usual, and it was held at the Hilton Hotel without changing venues. There is a time limit for speaking at the awards ceremony, and the party can be said casually, and reporters like to talk about nonstop stars. Eric first stood with the Olsen sisters, wrapping their arms around their waists and posing a few times under the flash. And then with Godot, she didn't have any loss, and she didn't have a personal award anyway, just to brush her face. Next was Theron, smiling on the surface, but still unable to hide her frustration in her heart, and after completing the process, she didn't continue to stay in the hotel and left directly. Finally, there is Nico. Tom Cruise took his little girlfriend with him when he walked the red carpet, and now he must get the scene back. In the eyes of the outside world, Eric is like a sweetheart, taking photos with 5 beauties in a row, and there is no chance to catch his breath. But in their opinion, it is no wonder that the world's youngest super-rich person with personal assets of more than $1 billion is the youngest best screenwriter. He can also direct a commercial film like Transformers, and he can also direct a literary film like Adele's Life. The heroine holds a fire and a fire. He is not worthy of fragrant gluttony. After taking photos with the girls and making sure that there was no favoritism, Eric patted his ass and prepared to leave. There's still a lot of work to be done tonight, so there's no need to waste it on this kind of boring banquet. Under the pretext of going to the toilet, he was ready to urinate and run away. When I walked to the door of the hotel, I suddenly heard a shout from behind. "Eric, wait a minute." Eric looked back and saw a tall, fashionably dressed blonde girl chasing after him. The person who came was about the same age as himself, and it was Paris Hilton, the heir of the Hilton Hotel. For this eldest lady, Eric naturally heard of it, and she had caused a global melon-eating frenzy before the crossing. Paris Hilton met an unladylike woman and was exposed to a sex tape by her ex-boyfriend, which attracted onlookers around the world. However, it is also said that she is deliberately hyped. Anyway, after this incident, her fame has indeed increased greatly, and black and red are also red. I have participated in reality shows, and I have made a lot of brain-dead remarks, such as I hate black people the most, black people don't deserve to touch me, and other racist words. But Americans also know that she is a spoiled eldest lady, so it is not new to say anything brainless, so it has no effect on her. Kim Kardashian, who later became popular, was originally carried by Paris Hilton's side. Interjected to brush up on the presence of the other party when he was being interviewed, and was angry by Paris Hilton on the spot. But then, it is estimated that she was tired of it and grew up, and this girl suddenly disappeared from the circle and concentrated on her own business, and when she reappeared, she was already a successful businessman with a net worth of more than $1 billion. On the contrary, because of her retirement, the original follower Kardashian seized the opportunity to become popular. Eric didn't have any ill feelings towards this eldest lady and looked at each other politely. Paris, what's wrong? Paris Hilton approached. Are you leaving? Yes, I still have something to attend to. I know, you're a busy person. You have to deal with a lot of things every day, and being able to come to the Golden Globe Awards is a face-saving experience for the association. If it weren't for the nomination, you probably wouldn't be there for this kind of boring party. Luckily, I'm not bored. Come on, from your hurried departure, your attitude has already been reflected. Eric chuckled. Paris, are you okay? I'm leaving if not. Wait, don't worry, I really have something to discuss with you. Maybe we can talk about it alone. Paris Hilton said, winking. Eric has also heard a little about the eldest lady's private life, which is much more chaotic than himself. Although she has no ill feelings towards the other party, she is also good-looking, and if she has nothing to do, Eric doesn't mind playing a casual canon. But Theron was waiting for himself to comfort him, and he didn't bother to pay attention to her. I'm sorry, Paris, I think we'd better talk another day. I really have something to do. Wait, please wait a minute. Seeing that he was leaving, Paris Hilton hurriedly stayed. Actually, I just want to talk to you about work. You know, I have also developed in the film and television industry, and I have made a few movies, but the response is not great, so I want to ask you to help me. Gal Gadot and Sister Olsen have proven that being your heroine can definitely be popular. Eric paused. She remembered that Paris Hilton's best response movie was Horror Wax Museum, but the reputation of the movie had nothing to do with her acting skills. Is as true as other beautiful and young girls. This eldest lady is not suitable for acting at all, and she does not have the mind and perseverance to learn acting seriously. However, she is a celebrity in the spotlight, and in the eyes of many people, she belongs to a mysterious group, and people are eager to know how she spends her day. As the master of Kardashian, taking the road of variety shows is very suitable for her, and Lionheart also needs more diversified programs. After thinking for a moment, Eric said, You may not be suitable for movies, but if you are willing to shoot a variety show, I can plan a show for you. It can be called Walking with Paris Hilton, and the main content of the show is to show your family, your life, your circle of friends, spending lavishly, etc. Paris Hilton frowned. Then, don't I have no privacy? And who likes to watch others eat and shop? Paris, you have to believe me when you find me. If I say yes, I must be able to, otherwise why would the Emmy and Golden Globes give me the trophy for Best Screenplay? Think about it, if you are willing to give me an answer as soon as possible, your sister Nikki Hilton is also very good. You can go double heroine. After saying that, Eric turned around and left. Kardashian is a family, and Paris can also be a sister. Eric has some impressions of Nikki Hilton, as she married the heir of the Rothschilds, and the two families formed a marriage. That's right, the Rothschilds you imagined. With the help of Song Hongbing's stall literature, Currency War, the Rothschilds became completely popular in China, and many people thought that this was a mastermind behind the world's domination. Therefore, there have been many jokes, such as someone pretending to cheat in Huaxia and being treated as a guest by many high-ranking officials. But in fact, the Rothschild family's net worth is only about $10 billion. which is barely a second-rate family, far worse than the real big families in various countries. Otherwise, why would you marry the Paris family? After this episode, Eric returns to the love nest. Pushing the door open and entering, I saw Theron still sitting on the couch in a puff. Okay, baby, don't be angry when you're done. Getting angry will only hurt you. Theron gave him a blank look. It's all your fault. Why did you want to shoot Adele's life? If you don't shoot me, you can get the actress. I can't help it. It's a project that was finalized before we met, and it's been in the works for a long time. I don't care. So can't you shoot a little badly? It's been as bad as it gets. Otherwise, the best director and the best picture should be given to me. Nasty. You hate it, Eric. If you look at this face, if you still hate it, there will be no man in the world who can get into your eyes. Disgusting. Don't be so narcissistic. I promise you, Oscar won after the film. This month was full of publicity. What about Adele's life? Don't publicize it. No publicity, not at all. Don't even think about appropriating a dime from me. Knowing that Eric was amusing himself, Theron was still amused. Forget it, it's your hard work anyway, in case there is really hope of winning the Best Director and Best Picture. Hey, I know you've done the best to me. Virtue. The Guardian. The Golden Globes have come to an end, and The Lord of the Rings 3 has become the biggest winner, winning all 5 nominations and winning 3 heavyweight awards for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor. NBC Entertainment. A new record for the Golden Globe Awards was born. Eric Cooper broke the record in film history again and won the Best Screenplay Award, and the Olsen sisters won the actress at the same time, becoming the first double yolk egg in the history of the Golden Globe Awards. Scenographic Live. Eric Cooper, president of MGM Pictures and honorary chairman of the board of directors of MGM Oriental, won the Best Screenplay Award and is expected to hit the Oscars and win 3 consecutive championships. The New York Times. The 61st Golden Globe Awards are star-studded, same-sex films shine, and the market has ushered in a wave of same-sex themes. The Independent. Sean Penn's performance in Mystic River was wonderful, and I regret that he didn't win the Best Actor award, but Elijah Wood's performance also deserves the title of Best Actor. On the contrary, some films rely on the trend of public opinion and political correctness to win awards, which is not worthy of the name. Los Angeles Post. The biggest surprise at this year's Golden Globes is undoubtedly the Olsen sisters, or the most surprising actors of 2003 are Ashley and Mary. Unconsciously, when the public did not react, the twins had grown up, and they completely abandoned the exaggerated and superficial performance forms of the past and entered a new situation in one fell swoop, and the name of the actress was well-deserved. Of course, all of this is inseparable from Eric Cooper's tutelage. He is definitely born to eat this bowl of rice wizard. Always beyond people's imagination, I am extremely looking forward to his next big work. BBC News. The saddest character of the Golden Globes was born. Charlize Theron did not hesitate to pretend to be ugly and gain weight, turning himself into an unapproachable murderer, but the Golden Globes still failed her. Her performance is enough to be called the queen, but it is a pity that the crash of the theme made the female devil lose to Adele's life. Which does not mean that Charlize Theron lost to the Olsen sisters, but the public prefers Sunshine, and I hope she can bring better performance in the future. With the end of the Golden Globe Awards, reports from all parties have been released, and the hot searches in the entertainment section have been occupied. With the fermentation of good word of mouth, Adele's life really boosted morale, and the box office decline slowed down significantly, falling only 19% this week. At present, the global box office has officially exceeded $200 million, raising the box office of same-sex movies to a new level in one fell swoop. Although The Devilish won 2 nominations, it did not win the award after all, and the North American box office could exceed $20 million. The situation overseas is also not good. only about 11 million were obtained, and the screening range was only 1,000 theaters, which was 10 times worse than Adele's life. The biggest beneficiary is, naturally, The Lord of the Rings 3. The global box office has reached $810 million. The attendance rate is still amazing, and the appeal of the classic is indeed very strong. Every year at this time, it is the award season for major awards. The same is true of the film industry, and the same is true of the music industry. A few days ago, at the same time as receiving an invitation to the Golden Globe Awards, Eric also received an invitation to the 46th Grammy Awards. At that time, it was still strange. Why did I send an invitation to myself if I didn't play music? Then my buckle told Eric that because Rolling in the Deep was shortlisted for the award, and the lyrics and music of this song were written with your name written on them, of course the Grammys would send you an invitation. Eric hadn't seen a Grammy and wasn't going to go, but Miko said that he had a good chance of winning the prize, so he should go and have a game. With my buckle's invitation, Eric just went, and the location was on the doorstep of Los Angeles anyway. After I went, I found that there were really many Grammy Awards, with 105 awards, all kinds and variety. There are 30 major categories in the category alone, such as music video, classical, packaging, children's, jazz, rap, etc. Among them, the highest gold content is in the comprehensive category, with a total of 4 awards: Production of the Year, Album of the Year, Single of the Year, and Newcomer of the Year. Rolling in the Deep was shortlisted for 2 awards, Production of the Year and Single of the Year. The former is awarded to the performers and production team of a single and producers, sound engineers, mixers, etc., as long as they participate, can come on stage to receive the award. The latter belongs exclusively to the songwriters, namely Eric and Maiku. After more than half a year of publication, Rolling in the Deep is still in the top 100 of the B list, and at the beginning of its publication, it won the top spot on the list for 9 consecutive weeks. At the awards ceremony, there were many people who wanted to get to know him, but for the rapper Eric, they were blindsided. It's not a metaphor, it's really black, it's all black. Except for Jay's, who was invited by The Voice, and the dog with obvious characteristics. The other one didn't know. However, the Old Blacks have a good sense of him, and they also asked Eric when Barbershop 2 will be released. The film, which stars all black people, was a project before Eric became MGM and made him a fortune. The main creator, Ace Cooper, is a rapper and producer who has crossed over to the film industry. Probably because of this reason, these Old Blacks have a good sense of him, just like Black Panther was won into the Oscars. Relatively speaking, he is more familiar with singing pop, and he has seen Avril and Lazy and I, who was miserable by the pit. I also talked to Celine Dion and Jenny Jackson. The recording of The Voice of America is underway, and Eric has been busy with the movie and hasn't bothered to go up and see it. As for Eminem's Stinky Idiot, he didn't attend the Grammys, and the albums were all taken off the shelves, so he might have shown his face, and he might also be worried that Eric would scold him and beat him on the spot. In the end, Rolling in the Deep successfully won the 2 awards of Production of the Year and Single of the Year, becoming the biggest winner of the night. Eric also stood on the stage of the Grammys in a daze and took the Golden Gramophone as an outsider. I have to say that this scene is still very interesting. At the same time, a new round of box office wars in the outside world has also kicked off, and the protagonist who has attracted much attention this time is Wenziren, who is known as the director's new star. Because the 2 new horror films are masterpieces he participated in, MGM's Saw 2 and Lionsgate's Dead Silence. Although he is only a producer of the former, in fact, Revornal completed the film under his direction, and the latter is completely dominated by him. Now that the 2 movies are in the ring, everyone is waiting to eat melons to see who can use Wenziren's sword well. Wenziren ran at both ends, promoting Saw 2 and Dead Silence on the other. In the morning, he was still in Los Angeles, He flew to Boston in the afternoon, and he had to go to New York in the evening to do a show, but the child was tired like a dog. Lionsgate is confident that Dead Silence was filmed very well. After all, it invested $30 million. When Eric and Wenziren chatted privately, he said that this data is exaggerated but not much, and it actually cost $25 million US, and the movie has a lot of big scenes. But after all, Saw Horror has the first Juyu in front of it, so Lionsgate is still a little worried. So I played a little trick, and the two movies were originally scheduled for January 30th. But after Saw 2 was announced, Dead Silence suddenly raised the file and chose to release it 3 days in advance. The idea of a time difference is also very simple. Once the reputation of Dead Silence ferments, it is enough to crush the latecomer Saw 2. Judy and Volvo wanted to bring Saw 2 to the next level, but Eric ignored it. Just kidding. What color are you? Do you really think plated gold is really gold? You don't deserve brass. Beverly Hills, Cooper's house. After winning several Golden Globe Awards, Eric chose to host a party at home, both to celebrate and to connect with everyone. The company's top management, several close friends, and good friends have all been invited, and there are always dozens of them, which is a lot more than last time. My mother and my little nanny, Lisa, must have been too busy, so they simply hired a chef from Michelin to cook at home. Everyone gets together in 2s and 3s to chat and brag. Judy is drinking with Chris Evans, and Warren is eating snacks with Ryan Reynolds with a big belly. Evangeline, Lily, and Godot laughed, and they didn't know what they were talking about. Jean Ime is introducing Michael Fassbender and Tom Hardy to the Olsen sisters. Theron was already deflated, but when she heard that Ashley and Mary would be coming, she chose not to participate. Eric sat on the sofa with Wenziren and Ravornal watching TV, on which Jet Li's Black Man was playing. Boom! Take a sip of cold drinks to relieve your greasy. This Michelin-starred chef is just like that. James, don't you like the mango flavor? Do you want to change the beer? Seeing that Wenziren didn't eat and drink much, Eric asked. Ravornal said, I don't think James has much appetite right now, and the comments about Dead Silence have come out. As an opponent of Saw 2, I want it to fail, but as your friend, I want you to succeed. Wenziren smiled bitterly. It has been 3 days since the painting started, and the word of mouth of the movie has been lifted, which is far from meeting his and Lionsgate's expectations. The imaginary scene should be enthusiastically pursued by the audience, but the reality is quite the opposite. Audiences and film critics who have seen it scoffed, and he would dream of those bad reviews. Dead Silence is simply the worst movie I've ever seen. The plot, who came up with the idea for the puppet show, it's just boring. Today I went to see Dead Silence with my girlfriend, a new work directed by Wenziren. I like his Saw Horror, and my girlfriend likes his Get Out. We thought Dead Silence would also be a thrilling horror film, but the truth is that it was a failure. Only the male protagonist's dad was amazed by the hollowed-out episode, but that was about it. The Chicago Herald. It seems that Chainsaw and Get Out have worn down Wenziren's aura and led him to make bad films like Dead Silence and a rising director star, Fox. Entertainment. From the poor performance of Dead Silence, it can be seen that Wenziren is not serious about this homework. The movie lacks the amazing sense of Chainsaw and Get Out of Desperate Town, and he guessed the ending after watching the beginning, which is not what he should be. The bad reviews kept lingering in his mind, and Wenziren sighed, I messed up. $25 million, 7 times as much as Chainsaw and 5 times as much as Get Out, but I really messed up. Through this shooting, I feel that I still have a lot to do with the big scenes, and horror movies really don't have bigger scenes, the better, and the audience taught me a lesson. Looking at Wenziren with a depressed face, Eric was happy in his heart, and the child only knew that society was not easy to mix when he went out to break through. When you feel the cruelty outside, you will be more attached to the warmth of home. What's more, The first two were great successes, but this time it was a huge failure, and the blow to him must have been not small. He patted Wenziren on the shoulder and comforted, "James, you are already great if you can recognize your own shortcomings. Come back to MGM and help me make a movie. There's a place for you. I believe that after this failure, you will become more mature." Hearing this, Wenziren was moved in his heart, and the failure of Dead Silence made Lionsgate suspicious of him, and the next movie originally scheduled was gone. "Eric, are you going to let me shoot Saw 3? "No, the Saw series is led by Ray, and I plan to open a new series for you. Have you heard that there was a couple of exorcists in the last century, Warren?" Wenziren shook his head. "It's okay if you haven't heard of it. You can buy a novel, Demon Master, and read it. I have already written the outline of the script, and you can supplement it. When you're almost ready, the movie will start shooting." The Warrens and the Demon Master are actually the prototype of the horror film, The Conjuring, and Eric intends to start filming the most lucrative horror film series in film history. It is right to say that the series are all wronged, and the Conjuring universe is right, because the Annabelle and Nun series are also extended later. However, after Warner and New Line made a lot of money, it attracted a lawsuit because The Conjuring is based on the story of the Warrens. But the Warrens actually sold their story early on, and the buyer used it to write the novel Demon Master. As a result, the writer took Warner and New Line to court for film infringement, demanding more than $900 million in damages. Warner and New Line were naturally furious and found an excuse to say that we were not based on your novel, but on the real events of the Warrens, and had never seen your broken novel from beginning to end. As a result, the embarrassment came because the claim was based on real events. Warner and New Line were asked to prove that there were ghosts and that Annabelle could kill. "You've chosen it, Idol." Warner and the New Line are stupid. This proves to be a dir. In the end, the most absurd case in Hollywood history ended with two major corporations confessing to individuals. It is impossible to compensate $900 million, but it is rumored that tens of millions of dollars have been compensated, which can be described as a hemorrhage. In order to prevent himself from becoming a defendant, Eric had already instructed Billy to buy out the rights to the novel, which cost a measly $500,000. After all, he is just an unpopular writer, and he was crazy when he saw $500,000, and Eric was crazy when he got the copyright. Strictly speaking, the story of Saw 2 is not very related to the first part, at least in terms of storyline. The only connection is that the big boss behind the scenes is still the old man of Jigsaw's. After all, without him, the audience will be half less. Another point of contact is Amanda, a survivor from Part 1, who has taken refuge in the Jigsaw and is mentally similar to Stockholm Syndrome, but not quite. Eric did not participate in the creation of the script of the second part, but only proposed the synopsis and development direction of the story, and the rest was done by Ravinal independently. His screenwriting skills are far stronger than the immature director's skills. The plot is still well written, and the third part still has Wenziren as the producer, and the old pair will cooperate with one more film. Wenziren's directing ability will almost be mature, and he can direct independently at that time. With the big failure of Dead Silence, the market's eyes all came to Saw 2. Lionsgate must have wanted Saw 2 to fail, as did MGM and the Chinese haters, so could they taunt one. However, with the feedback given by the first batch of viewers, reality slapped these people hard. Fox News. Saw 2 continues the tension and exploration of human nature in the first part, and compared with the first part, the second part is innovative and improved in terms of technology and plot. But it still retains the core elements of the series, including high IQ killing mechanisms, complex interpersonal relationships, and deep thematic exploration, making it a masterpiece to watch. Los Angeles Times. Saw 2 is still a very cleverly conceived film, continuing the routine of the ambush pen, which is unexpected and reasonable. After watching this one, you can solve a mystery in the first part, why Jigsaw left survivors in the first place, and it is recommended that fans must watch it. Salt Lake City Entertainment News. You all know that I like to recommend good movies to fans, but I rarely recommend sequel movies, because no more than 10% of movies can make sequels good. But there's no doubt that Saw 2 is in the 10th percent, and it's still an ingenious killing game. With terrifying traps and adrenaline-pumping brutality, horror fans will find everything you're looking for here. Like most of the praise in the film review media, the fan reviews on the internet are also mostly positive. The words of praise from die-hard fans are even more numb, and words such as the highest praise, the highest honor, and the best of the year have come out. The freshness of Rotten Tomatoes has reached 91%, and the opening score of IMDb has received a score of 7.2, which will definitely decrease in the future, but it is high enough for a horror film and belongs to the category of masterpieces. The most obvious positive performance is at the box office, which was released on Friday and earned $37 million in the first 3 days of the opening weekend, $4 million more than the first film. The cost is the same as the first one, which is still a $5 million production, $10 million in publicity costs. And Dead Silence has been in theaters for 6 days so far, but it has only received more than $7 million at the box office. It is true that there is a reason why Lionsgate's operating ability is not as good as MGM, and only 1,000 movie theaters have been released, but the quality and word-of-mouth collapse of the film is the root cause. There is no imaginary chess opponent, no good talent, and no tug-of-war. The competition between the two movies has ended, and Dead Silence has failed. Now the most uncomfortable thing except for the Lionsgate is when Zirin, the outside world, scolds him and praises him, and the whole personality is about to split. Eric and Revenal naturally stepped forward to speak for him. Eric, it's not uncommon for every director to have a failed work, and even Hitchcock and Akira Kurosawa can't guarantee that every film will be a success. The success of a film is the result of a lot of factors, such as creativity, the market environment, the team behind the scenes, the actors' performances, and so on. When a film is successful, we don't just praise the director, just like the Oscars for Best Picture are when everyone in the crew goes on stage to accept the award. In the same way, when a film fails, you can't blame all the mistakes on the director. I have always believed that when Zirin is a good director, and he will definitely become a successful director in the future. One Zirin. Saw 2 was done by James and me. Although I have the director's name, he helped me a lot. In fact, it is the work of the two of us. I've known him for many years and never believed that a single defeat could knock him down, believing that he would soon get back up and bring better work to everyone. In fact, having heard that MGM is already working with James on a new project, Wynn is an idle man and he will prove himself again. When Zirin was deeply moved by the firm support of the two, anyway, Dead Silence has become that bear. Lionsgate is embarrassed to promote it again, when Zirin simply devoted himself to the promotion of Saw 2. On February 10th, Saw 2 was released in more than 2,700 movie theaters for 10 days and has seen nearly $60 million at the box office, and it is not a problem to break $100 million in North America. Overseas is only released simultaneously in some countries on the European side, and after a large-scale release in a few days, there is no pressure to break $200 million worldwide. As for Lionsgate's Dead Silence, no one cares about it. It has been swept into the garbage. But now Eric's focus is not on the movie, because today is the day when YouTube is launched. Silicon Valley, he has not been to the company for a month. As a decision-maker, he only needs to focus on the general direction, and it is enough to grasp people and money. Facebook's growth is booming, especially in the last month, when there was a small spike in new customer arrivals, and most of the new people are adults. The number of registered users has reached 50 million, accounting for nearly a quarter of the U.S. population. There are also more than 42 million active users, which is a terrifying statistic. This is still actual data, and the data released to the public is even more exaggerated, which makes the competitor MySpace have been nervously catching up, and the edges are getting more and more fierce. And it should be under pressure from within Fox that MySpace has recently started advertising. Ads have a great impact on the user experience. The most obvious is that it takes longer to open the homepage, which has been complained by many users. Last month, Facebook also updated with a new feature, and it's the drifting bottle. Drifting bottle, I'm afraid all Chinese people know what it does. It can be loaded with text, voice, and pictures. As for whether the picture voice sent by the user is in violation of the edges, it is difficult to control it for the time being. Moreover, Facebook is not as slamming as WeChat, and there are restrictions on throwing bottles and scooping bottles every day. We have such an awesome server. Don't you have to let it sit idle? There is no limit. You want to send as many as you want. So within a few days of the function being launched, all kinds of crooked ways have been developed. Some of the old critics who couldn't stand mishaps caught on, leaving naturally turned to Facebook. Fitz was a little worried about the impact the feature would have on Facebook's reputation, but Eric knew it. The drifting bottle function belongs to the night pot, and it should be used when it should be used, and when it is dry up MySpace and Facebook is dominant, just kick it under the bed. And unlike MySpace, which uses pornography as a selling point when it is launched, Facebook is still normal social as a whole, and drifting bottles are embellishments. Those who are attracted by the drifting bottle feature will not leave, because they don't have this feature, because Facebook has other attractions to keep people. With Facebook as a pioneer, YouTube's promotion is much simpler. Major television stations and portals, forums, and chat rooms carried out carpet-bombing propaganda. All Facebook users have received an open letter and can log in directly to YouTube with their Facebook account, without having to re-register, which is fast and convenient. Hundreds of celebrities, large and small, also helped promote on social accounts, and then opened YouTube accounts and uploaded a few small videos to attract fans. Eric looked at it. Everyone had no experience. It was the first time to do this kind of thing, and the content of the video was very simple. It's about aiming at the camera and then introducing yourself. Welcome everyone to YouTube to open an account, hoping to become friends with everyone and the like. Eric shook his head, going through the afterlife, the bombardment of the video, and then looking at everyone's restraint now, makes him feel like he has returned to the Stone Age. In addition to these conventional propaganda methods, Eric has also prepared a big killing weapon, that is, a real big coin. Unlike Facebook posting pictures and editing a piece of text, YouTube is much more difficult to make a video. At least you also need a DV machine, otherwise the video can't be filmed, and if you want to make a high-quality video, you also need editing and other technologies, and the cost has limited many people. Even if YouTube already has a variety of editing plugins built in, the cost of learning will still turn a large number of people away. Therefore, if you want to quickly accumulate creators, the most direct way is to give money. As long as creators can monetize their videos, it's only natural that someone will join in. But at the beginning of the creation of the website, it must not be able to advertise, and there is no advertising revenue, so the money needs to be paid by Eric. Fortunately, he is not short of money now, even if MGM's shares cannot be moved for the time being, but he also has a lot of liquidity in his hands. Take out $300 million as an incentive fund first, and then add it if it is not enough. And if your personal liquidity is not enough, then borrow money from MGM and turn your left hand into your right hand. The revenue is mainly calculated according to the completion rate of the video, and a part of the likes and shares will also be provided, and then the price is set according to the length of the creator's video, similar to the pricing of short videos, medium videos, and long videos. There is only one standard: more work, more reward. The more exciting the video, the higher the income. At present, when you open the YouTube pipe, you can find that the entire website is only divided into a comprehensive area and a music area. The music area is mainly the songs and music videos of all the singers affiliated with Sony Music, which are directly licensed to YouTube by Milestone at a lower price. There are also some other companies that Milestone helped to talk about. Boss, there you have it. What? The first video uploaded by the user, is not those stars. Howard Hughes exclaimed excitedly. Eric walked over and saw a user named Diablo on the computer screen, who had uploaded a video of himself playing a game. The video is not long, only a few tens of seconds. Under the camera, I saw this little brother pointing to his game interface with flying facial features. Immortal King, I have finally collected the Immortal King suit. The little brother jumped up and hugged the photographer, and the video ended here. Eric nodded after watching it. Although there are not many highlights, more similar to short videos from later generations, but he has already won the title of the first uploaded video to be out of print. It's okay, at least his exaggerated expression will attract some users to click in and watch, a good start. After a while, another moderator next to him shouted, "Boss, the second user video has appeared." Eric clicked on it to watch. This time it was a girl user, and he was shooting a cat in motion at home. Ha 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 ha. I've been looking for this guy for a long time, and it turns out that he went to the neighbor's house and got involved with the she-cat. I heard that she-cat barking all the time last night, you bad thing. Next came the third, fourth, fifth. By 3 p.m., YouTube's users had already surpassed 100 million views. The number of registered users easily broke 1 million. After all, there is a Facebook user base there. However, the vast majority of the views in the comprehensive area are contributed to the videos of major stars, and less are distributed to ordinary users. Overall, the number of views in the music area accounts for more than half, and the vast majority of users are rushing to listen to songs and watch MVs. The MV of Rolling in the Deep reached 730,000 views in one day, and the number of likes also exceeded 50,000. This result is also expected, and the number of videos in the comprehensive area is currently relatively small, with only more than 400 uploads a day. It's all short videos, and the quality is not high. Users quickly finish brushing what they are interested in, and after brushing, they will naturally go to the music area or exit YouTube. The situation lasted for a week, but it still didn't improve much, and it was a bit different from what Eric expected. Howard, how's it going? Howard Hughes shook his head and nodded. Boss, judging from the data alone, as a nascent website, YouTube can be said to be developing rapidly. But the traffic is coming from the music area, which accounts for most of it, but the personal videos of our users are being squeezed into the corner. If we continue to follow this trend, YouTube will change from a video site to a music site, which is contrary to our original intention. Eric snorted. What do you think is the problem? Obviously, because the quality of the video is not high enough, it is naturally not attractive enough. Boss, YouTube is a very novel mode of operation that allows ordinary people to shoot their own videos, but the average person has no experience in this area at all. Even the popular home comic videos of the last century are screened from all over the country and then cut and broadcast by TV stations. We can't expect users to get up and running quickly. Maybe give everyone some time, and in 2 or 3 months, things will get better. Fitzsatzenberg shook his head. I don't think it's a good idea, because people have personalities, and likewise websites have their own labels. When a website is tagged with its own, users who aren't interested in it ignore it. Boss, you're making movies, and audiences who like horror movies won't watch comedies, right? Go on. Eric nodded. If you really let the music area suppress the comprehensive area for a long time, YouTube will be labeled as a music website. The vast majority of users that can attract it are music enthusiasts, and its video attributes will be greatly weakened. If all of a sudden another opponent pops up, like MySpace, and the opponent only plays the attributes of video, it will be a huge challenge. So my advice is not to give up 2 or 3 months, but to take all possible measures as soon as possible to bring the creativity and autonomy of users to life. But the public is not professionals. They can't make great videos in a short period of time, or they don't know how to do it. Howard said, slapping the table in frustration. Then teach them what to do. What they lack is teachers, and as long as there are good teachers to demonstrate, the process can be greatly accelerated. Saying that, Fitz looked at Eric, and we obviously have a ready-made teacher. Boss, the idea of YouTube was put forward by you. I think no one in this world knows what to do better than you. And MGM has so many professionals. Why don't you lead them to do it together? Eric nodded slowly. Looks like it's time to give you a sample. YouTube has a global reach. Therefore, if a video can explode on YouTube, it will be truly popular all over the world. Looking through the history of YouTube, there are many videos with hundreds of millions or even billions of playbacks, but most of them are music MVs. There is only one Asian singer in the top 10, Uncle Bird's Jiangnan Style, which has exceeded 5 billion playbacks, although many people spray this song garbage, but it can be regarded as the light of Asia. The remaining 8 of the top 10 are all European and American singers, occupied by Boss Huang, Justin Bieber, Sister Fruit, Broken Eyebrows, etc. The number of broadcasts is as small as 2 or 3 billion, and the number of broadcasts has reached more than 6 billion, the highest of which is Boss Huang's Shape of You, with 6.2 billion views. But even with a terrifying figure of 6.2 billion, it can still only occupy the second place on the list. The champion belongs to the children's brainwashing divine comedy shark song, Baby Shake Dance, launched by Bumper Fox, which has exceeded 13 billion playbacks, properly reducing the dimensionality. The most played video in Japan is Lemon by Gensher Yonezu, with 850 million views, and the most played video in China is Light Years Away by Deng Ziki, with 270 million views. Excluding the European and American music scenes, just comparing the musical influences of China, Japan, and South Korea, China is tragically at the bottom. And at least judging by the situation before Eric's crossing, there is no hope of turning over in 10 years. Many people scold the Chinese music scene for becoming more and more wasteful. Ballet music is rampant. Creativity is exhausted, self-contained, and behind closed doors, and the scolding is not completely unreasonable. That is, the population of China is large enough to afford so many spicy chicken singers. But these are very professional song MVs, which are definitely not suitable for the general public. Videos that meet the general public must be funny, novel, and magical enough, not too difficult, and simple to understand and operate. After thinking about it for a while, Eric decided to shoot a few short videos himself, and then arranged for MGM staff to expand a few video genres. He filmed Shoulder Dance by himself, and then brought Andrea and My Buckle to shoot Shark Dance and PPAP. MGM staff took some ghost animal videos to spoof ruffians and other enemies. Then shoot some videos of food sharing, science and technology explanations, handicrafts, family fun stories, cosplay, and other genres. There is also a big head in film and television commentary, just take The Walking Dead. The purpose of the former is to go out of the circle with a YouTube pipe, and it is best to become popular all over the world like later generations, causing positive imitation. The latter is to open up everyone's thinking and guide users to create a variety of videos, and when their horizons are opened, their thinking will naturally be active. Since the purpose is to get out of the circle, then if you want to do it, make it bigger. Burbank, MGM's filming base, has a lot of luxury cars parked one after another today. Ryan Reynolds, the Olsen sisters, the British trio, Chris Evans, Anthony McCann, and others walked into the studio before and after. Seeing this situation, people who don't know still think that there is a blockbuster movie about to start. When everyone was almost there, one person in the crowd stood out as a surprise. Everyone else looked at him with blank faces, Obviously not wanting to communicate with him, although he was a little embarrassed, he seemed to get used to it, just walked into the corner alone. The group of people in front of him are all small flowers who are now red, and Robert Downey Jr. has the heart to get closer. But seeing other people's attitudes and then thinking about it, he is just a bad artist, and it is okay for people not to take care of themselves. A few days ago, he was exercising at home, playing Yongchun boxing against the wooden stake, and there was no filming at ordinary times, so he could only rely on this to pass the time. Then suddenly I received a strange phone call, and after connecting, it turned out to be someone from MGM, inviting him to star in a movie. Because of his own death, there is almost no place for him in Hollywood, and even his agent has abandoned him, and he doesn't know where the other party found his contact information. Played a comic book character, Tony Stark, the male protagonist of Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is not a fan of comics and has only heard of this character, but knows nothing about it. But it doesn't matter, it's all mixed up in this field. What kind of bicycle do you want? The salary is only $200,000? Yes, he is willing to accept $100,000, let alone the actor. And now that the comic market is booming, maybe he can rise again with this movie. Then yesterday, he received another phone call telling him to come to Burbank for a small cameo role. After asking, I found out that it was the play of the super boss Eric Cooper, and there is no need to mention the salary or anything else. Just come over and participate. A few minutes later, Eric also arrived at the scene, glanced around and asked, "Is everyone here?" Robert Downey Jr. Where's Robert Downey Jr.? In the corner, Downey hurriedly walked over. "Director, I'm here." Seeing him crouching alone in the corner, Eric understood what was going on, but who could blame him? Growing up in such a family environment, Robert Downey Jr., even if he has super talent, will inevitably become a big poisonous insect. Then there was the separation of wives and frequent departures from prison, which he did not release until the beginning of last year. YouTube has a global reach. Therefore, if a video can explode on YouTube, it will be truly popular all over the world. Looking through the history of YouTube, there are many videos with hundreds of millions or even billions of playbacks, but most of them are music MVs. There is only one Asian singer in the top 10, Uncle Bird's Jiangnan Style, which has exceeded 5 billion playbacks, although many people spray this song garbage, but it can be regarded as the light of Asia. The remaining 8 of the top 10 are all European and American singers, occupied by Boss Huang, Justin Bieber, Sister Fruit, Broken Eyebrows, etc. The number of broadcasts is as small as 2 or 3 billion, and the number of broadcasts has reached more than 6 billion, the highest of which is Boss Huang's Shape of You, with 6.2 billion views. But even with a terrifying figure of 6.2 billion, it can still only occupy the second place on the list. The champion belongs to the children's brainwashing divine comedy shark song, Baby Shake Dance, launched by Bumper Fox, which has exceeded 13 billion playbacks, properly reducing the dimensionality. The most played video in Japan is Lemoned by Gensher Yanazu, with 850 million views, and the most played video in China is Light Years Away by Deng Ziki, with 270 million views. Excluding the European and American music scenes, just comparing the musical influences of China, Japan, and South Korea, China is tragically at the bottom. And at least judging by the situation before Eric's crossing, there is no hope of turning over in 10 years. Many people scold the Chinese music scene for becoming more and more wasteful. Ballet music is rampant. Creativity is exhausted, self-contained, and behind closed doors, and the scolding is not completely unreasonable. That is, the population of China is large enough to afford so many spicy chicken singers. But these are very professional song MVs, which are definitely not suitable for the general public. Videos that meet the general public must be funny, novel, and magical enough, not too difficult, and simple to understand and operate. After thinking about it for a while, Eric decided to shoot a few short videos himself and then arranged for MGM staff to expand a few video genres. He filmed Shoulder Dance by himself and then brought Andrea and My Buckle to shoot Shark Dance and PPAP. MGM staff took some ghost animal videos to spoof ruffians and other enemies. Then shoot some videos of food sharing, science and technology explanations, handicrafts, family fun stories, cosplay, and other genres. There is also a big head in film and television commentary, just take The Walking Dead. The purpose of the former is to go out of the circle with a YouTube pipe, and it is best to become popular all over the world like later generations, causing positive imitation. The latter is to open up everyone's thinking and guide users to create a variety of videos, and when their horizons are opened, their thinking will naturally be active. Since the purpose is to get out of the circle, then if you want to do it, make it bigger. Burbank, MGM's filming base, has a lot of luxury cars parked one after another today. Ryan Reynolds, the Olsen sisters, the British trio, Chris Evans, Anthony McCann, and others walked into the studio before and after. Seeing this situation, people who don't know still think that there is a blockbuster movie about to start. When everyone was almost there, one person in the crowd stood out as a surprise. Everyone else looked at him with blank faces, obviously not wanting to communicate with him. Although he was a little embarrassed, he seemed to get used to it, just walked into the corner alone. The group of people in front of him are all small flowers who are now red, and Robert Downey Jr. has the heart to get closer. But seeing other people's attitudes and then thinking about it, he is just a bad artist, and it is okay for people not to take care of themselves. A few days ago, he was exercising at home, playing Yongchun boxing against the wooden stake, and there was no filming at ordinary times, so he could only rely on this to pass the time. Then suddenly I received a strange phone call, and after connecting, it turned out to be someone from MGM, inviting him to star in a movie. Because of his own death, there is almost no place for him in Hollywood, and even his agent has abandoned him, and he doesn't know where the other party found his contact information. Played a comic book character, Tony Stark, the male protagonist of Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is not a fan of comics and has only heard of this character, but knows nothing about it. But it doesn't matter, it's all mixed up in this field. What kind of bicycle do you want? The salary is only $200,000? Yes, he is willing to accept $100,000, let alone the actor. And now that the comic market is booming, maybe he can rise again with this movie. Then yesterday, he received another phone call telling him to come to Burbank for a small cameo role. After asking, I found out that it was the play of the super boss Eric Cooper, and there is no need to mention the salary or anything else. Just come over and participate. A few minutes later, Eric also arrived at the scene, glanced around and asked, "Is everyone here?" Robert Downey Jr. Where's Robert Downey Jr.? In the corner, Downey hurriedly walked over. "Director, I'm here." Seeing him crouching alone in the corner, Eric understood what was going on, but who could blame him? Growing up in such a family environment, Robert Downey Jr., even if he has super talent, will inevitably become a big poisonous insect. Then there was the separation of wives and frequent departures from prison, which he did not release until the beginning of last year.